Brown.
Thank you, President Moorhead, for the kind introduction and for your leadership. Thank you, Sudan, for your message and congratulations on your outstanding achievements. Thank you to the faculty and staff and the distinguished guests present here. And to the UGA class of 2023 and to the family and friends that helped get you here, congratulations. Go Dogs! It's a great thing to hear, isn't it? It's our universal greeting. It's our not so secret handshake. When we hear it, we know immediately we're among friends and we're at home and it's fun. I love the University of Georgia. This truly is a special place filled with extraordinary people. One of the most impressive things about the University of Georgia is its inspirational alumni network and its commitment to innovative research, civic engagement, and social responsibility. Graduating from UGA and becoming a trustee is one of my greatest honors. It has allowed me to continue serving the university that I love with people that share a common goal. During my time here as a student athlete, I felt a deep affinity to UGA and its culture, its adherence to excellence, the college town atmosphere, and the incredible school spirit. The university is a large part of my identity. However, if you were to tell me on my graduation day that the university and its mission would resonate with me more after I graduated, I would have never believed it. My regard, my appreciation, and my commitment to the university has increased immensely and unexpectedly as an alumna. It is why I'm so happy to be here with you today on this special occasion. In fact, without the network of UGA, and specifically the gymnastics alumni group, my family wouldn't be what it is today. Years ago at one of the Georgia Gymnastics alumni functions, I met a fellow Gym Dog alumna. Although our gymnastics careers were separated by a few years, okay, maybe a decade, we became close friends. It's hard to say exactly how we became such good friends so quickly. I guess you could say we were kindred spirits. As our friendship blossomed, though, my life took an unexpected course. This new friend was someone I leaned on when it became apparent that my pathway to motherhood was not going as planned. Like many women, I experienced difficulty starting a family. And while challenges like this affect so many people, it's often kept private, which intensifies the grief. As a result of this amazing alumni network and Courtney's overwhelming compassion and generosity, my husband and I were able to have twins. Courtney helped us with the gift of life, and I'm so appreciative. She and the twins, Wardell and Eva, are here today, and I'm eternally grateful to her and to UGA for bringing us together. I have a lot of great Georgia stories and experiences. My best one, I get to live every day in the blessings of my rambunctious children. In the spirit of family, you are all part of the Bulldog family. When you leave here, you will still be part of that Bulldog family, and that is a powerful thing. You made the decision to come to the University of Georgia. It is important to remember that UGA is not just a place to come to, it is now, as you graduate, a place to go from. You are coming from one of the top institutions in the world with one of the most extraordinary alumni networks in the world. We've been ranked in the top 20 best universities in the nation for the past 7 years. We've ranked in the top 10 for best alumni network and the top 15 for internships. The Jerry Moorhead Honors College has produced a record number of academic scholars, including Rhodes, Gates Cambridge, Fulbright, and Goldwater Award winners. And our football team, as you may have heard, has brought home 2 national titles in 2 years. I'd say we're well-rounded. I'd also say you chose wisely. Now is your time. It is your time to celebrate as you continue into the next chapter of your lives, or some might say, into full-time adulting. And I appreciate some of you may have already been full-time adulting. Regardless of how you got here, you all persevered through incredible hardships. You endured the challenges of a worldwide pandemic during the most formative time of your lives. You persevered. I'm sure it wasn't how you envisioned your time here, but you learned new ways to create community, to learn, and to educate. Today marks an important milestone, a new beginning, a chance to make your mark on the world, a chance to explore your capabilities even further. As you go from here, most of you have a plan. Some of you may still be developing that plan, and that is okay. Chances are you want to make a difference. Chances are you want to have a positive impact on people's lives. As you go from here, imagine this. How can you change the world? How can you make an impact? These are complex times with intricate local, national, and global issues. These issues may seem so big that you cannot influence them. Some might even say these questions are too lofty, too aspirational. We need to take ownership of our abilities to generate change. Why shouldn't we aim that high? You may be surprised what the fruits of just one person's labor can produce. In the moments of crisis can come clarity. There's an old saying, a crisis is just a threatening opportunity. My clarity came after my combined experiences being deployed to war zones in Iraq and Afghanistan. I'd like to share with you 2 important messages from my deployments that may be helpful for you. The first one is rebound quickly and adjust your plan. When you encounter obstacles, responding effectively takes resilience and action. As Suzanne Yacklin, one of the greatest coaches in UGA history, once said, winners make adjustments. The second one is make the effort to understand others and be moved to help if needed. I will share with you some details of my journey, and my hope is that it will illustrate the positive impact empathy and the bravery to act upon it can have. My story involves some of the most devastating situations that can occur in the world, and it would include some of the most courageous acts I've ever witnessed. Some of these acts came from unlikely allies. I'll begin my story when I left the arena of gymnastics in the University of Georgia. It was a dramatic change. I was at the height of my gymnastics career, still getting better, but there was no further gymnastics career to pursue. So I delved into my next focus and answered a calling to medicine and a calling to serve my country. At my core, and for as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to help others and make things better. Military medicine fit that nicely. There are many reasons people join the military. My reasons were simple. I joined to serve, to be a part of something bigger than myself. I didn't necessarily think it would be a career. I just knew it was part of an integral plan that I wanted to pursue. And like my sports life, I saw this as an opportunity to be part of a team. And for me, a team success always felt better than an individual one. I had a plan. I would finish med school, surgical training, complete my military commitment, launch my career as an orthopedic sports specialist, then focus on starting a family. I commissioned into the Navy a few months before enrolling in medical school in 1999. I felt confident with my new plan. Then 9/11 happened. I remember moment for moment the day of September 11, 2001. I remember the tremendous relief after hearing from my mother who worked near the Pentagon, and I remember knowing deep down that my life was not going to go as planned, especially now that I was a member of the United States Navy. I remember March 20th, 2003, the day I learned I'd been accepted into orthopedic surgery residency. It was also the onset of Operation Iraqi Freedom, another day that solidified the imminent change in my rigid life plan. Soon I would be among the thousands of service members to deploy to Iraq, and I would have to try to prepare what our nation going to war was going to mean for me personally. In addition to being deployed in a war zone, a deployment during residency meant an additional 2 years delay in completing my orthopedic surgical training. My first deployment was to Al-Anbar province, where some of the most intense fighting in Ramadi and Fallujah were occurring in 2006. Our arrival convoy into Iraq took fire the first night in country. I was early in both my medical and military career, and I was trying to manage the tremendous leadership position I was placed in. My job there was twofold: to provide medical care to members of the unit and to help coordinate medical logistics. These duties and decisions that had significant implications on service members I worked closely with and cared about. Things were happening at a worldwide speed, and although I was certainly aware that my significant career path deviation, there was too much at stake to be consumed by it. Eventually, the sounds of mortars outside the base went from unfamiliar and unnerving to almost routine background noise. I learned what loss and true exhaustion was, both mentally and physically. Two of my closest medical team members were among the numerous U.S. service members killed during those months. When I came home, I was a different person and matured from the experience. I completed residency 4 years later and established a new plan for the remainder of my active duty career. But sometimes, no matter how good your plan is, life happens. Soon after completing residency, I would deploy to Southeast Afghanistan. The deployment orders were once again unexpected and inconvenient. Our medical unit was designated to support SEAL Team 4 members and support staff in Tarin Kowt, Afghanistan. My job was to provide life-saving orthopedic trauma care to our service members and allies. This turned out to be some of the most mentally stressful months of my life. On a routine basis, I operated on service members I ate with, the ones I joked with, the ones I planned dinners after the official base dinners with and watched movies with. This all made the coalition losses we suffered more traumatizing, as some of these members were close members of my team and my friends. When immersed in this environment, you can try to make sense out of senselessness. And I noticed the tendency to categorize people: enemy, friend, good, bad. One day I was called by the SEAL team commander to see a local female government official who needed medical attention. My guard was up. I had seen enough while being deployed that I was wary to trust, which made me indifferent to her. Despite this, I made a decision to actively listen to her as she told me her story via our interpreter. This was a choice. You can respectfully listen to someone whom you may not trust yet. When I did this and truly listened to her about what daily life was like for her and those in her community, something happened. She became human to me in a way that helped me see her. She was an older woman with a steeled face who looked like she could handle herself in a fistfight. She was hardened by the repercussions of not conceding to Taliban demands as she pushed for democracy and citizens' rights, which resulted in the murder of her entire family except for one son. She told of the terror that people faced, how family members were threatened by various groups to engage in activities for which they did not want to be involved. I had suspected some of these things, but that day, it became evident and human to me in a way I had not grasped. From that moment came a new understanding. Two conflicting and opposing circumstances can be true at the same time. Two realities can be true at the same time. I came to understand this woman's perspective and others in the region who face similar horrific choices. Understanding it did not mean I agreed with it, but it humanized it for me, and it paved the way for new solutions. I recognized, had I not listened deeply and heard her story, an incorrect judgment about her and the locals we treated could have easily been made. Our responsibilities also included humanitarian work for the local civilians, and not long after I arrived, I noticed that none of our patients included women. For a multitude of complex reasons, local women had almost no access to adequate medical care. With the leadership and assistance of some phenomenal colleagues and mentors, we sought to change this, which further built upon our humanitarian mission. We met with the local Afghani Minister of Health and made the bold declaration of the need to address trauma and emergency care for women. After intense discussions and affirming our commitment to respecting cultural practices, our proposed plan to treat local women was approved. We solicited every female medical provider in our operational area and put together an all-female trauma team. This was not my goal, to disrupt cultural norms in a foreign society when I deployed to Afghanistan. However, sometimes you must adapt your plans. I witnessed a common goal can be found between two very different cultures when both sides are willing to listen and try to really understand each other. When this happens, amazing things can be achieved. When I came home, I remembered these people and these experiences, and it gave me a new perspective, a wider, deeper understanding. We need to evolve and challenge ourselves to reach out to others, especially people who may be different than you. Some of you will soon be in leadership positions where you will hire a team and be mentors. Some of you will make employment recommendations. All of you will interact with others in your departments, in your families, and in your communities. We all have the tendency to categorize people quickly, to make immediate judgment calls. This is natural. However, the reality is that this simplicity can lead to misunderstanding or even injustice. I challenge each of you to go deeper. And part of going deeper also involves a willingness to look further into ourselves, to examine and challenge our own perspectives and preconceived notions, then be willing to adjust them when presented with new information. While we look deeper, let's also narrow our focus and actively see others. We can practice empathy while still feverishly pursuing our goals. In fact, you may find it actually helps you achieve them. This will make your companies more successful, your work environment more enjoyable, your communities healthier, and our country stronger. Serving in Iraq and Afghanistan was not part of my plan when I left UGA. When I commissioned into the Navy 24 years ago, it was not my plan to serve for over 20 years. During my deployments, though, I found gratitude witnessing the actions of my fellow service members who sacrificed so much in service to their country, some with their lives. I discovered that one of my greatest honors is caring for and serving with the men and women of our armed forces, and it is the reason I continue to serve today. More than likely, your plans will change when you go from here and into your next phase of life as well. These changes may be hard, and things will not always go smoothly. That's okay. This will shape you. Whatever comes up, use it. So remember, rebound quickly and make adjustments. It takes more than perseverance to succeed. You will need to bounce back quickly from setbacks and adjust your plan. And make the effort to understand others and be moved to help if needed. There's no reason we cannot do this with a lot of different people in a lot of different ways. Now, as you move forward in your continued quest for excellence, I ask that you challenge your conventions and expand your definition of success. Consider measuring success not just by salary amounts, titles, social media followers. Consider measuring it by transformational human connections. Imagine what we can achieve if we collectively seek better understanding with fellow citizens instead of the divisive rhetoric that has become so prevalent. This is a way out of the illusion that we are so different and that we cannot align. As you go from here, one of the finest institutions in the country, remember this. Everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. You will never meet a successful person who has not failed. There is no reward without sacrifice. Doing something noble does not mean you are exempt from difficulty. Be kind in disagreement. The path to success is never a straight line, and we were not put here to serve only ourselves. What we do has an impact on people. Do not pretend it doesn't. Good leadership is more about what you should do than what you can do. Seek opportunities to be an advocate when someone needs it. Small decisions and seemingly small actions each day will collectively chip away at the largest problems. Answer this to yourself. With all the success you will have, what do you want your impact to be? What do you want your legacy to be? Continue to make your imprint. Make your corner of the world better. Create, collaborate, build, and as you rise, lift others with you. Listen and make things better for more than just yourself and your loved ones, for everyone you can. That is more than success. That is a legacy. And that is the Georgia way. Thank you very much. Go Dogs!